Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1480. 1480. Hello, I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Today, we hear from Valentino, Madame Rootabega, Bison Bentley. Hi. Well, as I got all that extra sleep yesterday, but
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Despite all that extra sleep, I was saying the absolute wrong thing when explaining
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Daylight savings time and that whole thing about falling forward. No, it's falling back. You fall back and spring forward. That's a fact. I had it all wrong. I thought it was FF and SB. It's actually FB and SF, as in Facebook and San Francisco. That's how you remember those. FBSF.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Okay. Speaking of Facebook, my Facebook page lost another fan, so
Mike's
I must be upsetting someone.
Daily
I went from 131 to
Podcast.
130. Oh well.
Yeah!
I think it might just be one Mike's Daily Podcast fan who's fickle, who can't decide. I like him, I don't like him. I like him. I am basically one of those things that you pull, the dandelion. He loves me not type thing. So, yesterday, the last podcast, the Super Secret Sunday podcast, we had Katie Garibaldi. Look who walked in. Hello, Michael Masters, Madame Rootabega, and I love the Katie Garibaldi. She's so good. Oh, she sings so nicely. She's got a bunch of songs, Christmas songs. We heard some of that. Yes, it may be way too far away for you, the Christmas. But we had a little Christmas music there. Look who else walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, here's what you do for Christmas. You get everyone Christmas cards. The cards that your gift cards day.
Yeah, gift cards. Do you know that? Oh, gift cards. The things that you put like in your drawer and forget about and never use, those things? Or you put in your wallet and you never use?
Yeah, those.
I get gift cards.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And no, I put them in my wallet, and I'm pretty good at remembering stuff. Here's what you do. If you get by the way, the podcast picture is of Washington, D.C. Let's get to that picture, and then I'll tell you what you should do about the gift card. A great idea. Hey, Washington, D.C., I went there, let's see, the last time was with my ex-wife, 2010, I think it was. And 2011 maybe. Just a year before that, 2009, I saw Colin. Both times I saw Colin. Colin I met in Ventura. He was working in the promotions department. We became friends. We kept in touch. And then I moved out to Alabama when he was driving from Ventura to Washington, D.C. He wanted to move to Washington, D.C. I forget why. But he wanted, I guess, to be close to the East Coast and where the action was going on, the governmental action. And he was driving. He stopped at my house in Alabama, which was a very bizarre day. He showed up the day we were having a horrendous thunderstorm. Thunder, lightning, thunder. Feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. The wind was blowing. Tornado alerts everywhere. Tornado warnings. Well, all of a sudden, and I was on the air, so he got to see me on the air. I used to do, I think it was 3 to 7 on this station called The Wolf. And all of a sudden, lightning hit the building. Lightning hit the building. And, oh, wow. It was just this enormous explosion. I got an electric charge. I got like a spark that sparked across the board and hit my finger. And then the power went out. And I said to Colin, I think it's time we have to leave. Because basically this radio station we had the worst engineer too to fix stuff. He wouldn't do a ding dong dang thing. And I don't even think he didn't fix the station. I think we were back up by the morning time, but oh my gosh, it was a total fiasco. So what did we do? Colin and I drove then to a Mexican restaurant in Alabama. It was called Rose's Cantina, not Rosie's Cantina. By the way, hi out to Rose, who I met in Monterey Bay area, who still hasn't emailed me, but hi, I know she's listening. So hi, Rose. Hey, anyway, Café Anyway. What happened was we went to Rose's Cantina, not Rosie's Cantina or Rosa's Cantina. No, they don't do that in Alabama. You just have your name Rose. I don't know why I found that significant, but I thought it sounded a little more Spanish sounding. And they made their own tortillas. It was so delicious. The fajitas there were so good, or as the Alabamans call them, fajitas. And so we ate, and I tried to put my job, my livelihood was completely falling apart at the radio station. Tried to keep that out of my mind. And sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you just can't, you just don't give a care. You just can't be concerned about stuff. So I then, about a year after he visited, I went to visit him in Washington, D.C., and he took me to Alexandria, this nice little town to the south of everything. I think just to the south of the Ronald Reagan Airport and the Capitol, White House and everything. Café everything. I mean, Café Anyway.
Anyway.
And there, I took a picture of the river there. What's the river called? The river is called the Potomac. Yes, the Potomac River. I think I posted another picture of the Potomac a couple weeks ago, but that was further up north on the Potomac near the Watergate and the Georgetown and all that. Oh, the Kennedy Center. That's it. So it's been a long time since I've been back to DC, so I don't know that much. But this picture, I don't remember that much about DC, except as I look on this map through Google, I see the Torpedo Factory Art Center and Waterfront Park, and this is where that picture was taken, in that area of Alexandria. Really cool area. There's, what's that called? Gatsby's Tavern Museum. That's right. We didn't get to go in there. That looked interesting. Alexandria City Hall. So I guess this was like downtown Alexandria. Bilbo Baggins Global? What is that? The Carlisle House Historic Park. I think I remember that. But the Torpedo Factory Art Center was interesting. It's this old factory building. They've got, neat little art galleries in there. And then old torpedoes, of course, that are inactive. But they look like torpedoes, and they're all over the place. And the Old Town Alexandria Harbor, that's where we were. I think that's where this picture was taken. We were standing on an old ship that you could walk on and look around. And Potomac Riverboat Company. Oh, Founders Park. I think we made it up to there as well. So that was a fun day. And then we hopped on the Metro, I think is what they call their public transportation rail system. And he dropped me off at the Ronald Reagan Airport, and then I got on a plane and headed back to Alabama, where I was living at the time. But anyway, you can see that Café Anyway. You can see that wonderful picture at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. So much going on in Washington, so much happening in the world. We'll get to all that, but first, Mike'sDailyPodcast.com is where you can go and hear that interview I did with Katie Garibaldi and some of the cool music she's got that she's just coming out with. Her new album going to be released soon. We had a little preview of it on the Super Secret Sunday show, the last show. And you can help out the show through the Amazon link if you're going to buy anything on Amazon and help out that Megalith, mega company that's swallowing up the world. You can purchase it first going through Mike'sDailyPodcast.com and clicking on the Amazon link. When you do that, that helps out the show. Whatever you're doing, you're shopping through Amazon, go through that at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com. There's also a PayPal if you'd like to help us out that way. And all the past shows you can hear and past interviews and all the links to all the places you can listen to this show. There are a billion different places you probably didn't even know you can listen to podcasts on. Yes, all that is at mikesdailypodcast.com. So the horrible shooting that happened over the weekend, what we know, the suspect who opened fire at that South Texas church was a 26-year-old guy named Devin Patrick Kelly. Authorities on Sunday only identified the suspect as a young white male. They said he was dressed in all black and tactical gear when he opened fire at the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs. After a car chase with police, the suspect was declared dead, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The shooting left at least 26 people dead and 20 others injured in what Texas Governor Greg Abbott described as the worst mass shooting in his state's history. How many times do we have to hear worst mass shooting? Kelly is a former U.S. Air Force member who served from 2010 to 2014. Records confirm he previously served in logistics readiness in New Mexico until his discharge in 2014. This according to CBS News. He was actually court-martialed in 2012 for 2 counts of assault on his spouse and assault on their child. He received a bad conduct discharge and confinement for 12 months. He had a residence in New Braunfels, Texas, which is about a 35-mile drive from where the attack took place in Sutherland Springs. They say the suspect lived in a San Antonio suburb, and he didn't appear to be linked to any organized terrorist groups. And CBS learned that Kelly has a wife named Danielle Lee Shields. Investigators will look at his social media posts made in the days prior to the Sunday attack, including one that appeared to display an AR-15 semi-automatic weapon. No motive has been declared as the investigation continues. And Sutherland Springs is about 35 miles southeast of San Antonio. Trump, well, you know, when the horrible New York truck attack, we've had so many horrible attacks this year, and violence, but the New York truck attack, he said immediately, we're going to get rid of the immigration system that we have, that allows for diversity. We're going to get rid of that. Well, he didn't say anything about getting rid of guns, of course. He immediately said, it's people that have mental health problems. We've got to fix that. But he did greet Japanese Emperor Akihito and Empress Michiko on yesterday with a genteel handshake and nod. But he didn't bow, avoiding the pitfall of U.S. President Barack Obama, who was criticized for his deep bow to the monarch. Trump wearing a suit and tie, and his wife Melania in a long, dark blue dress. They were met at the palace entrance by the royal couple, who were both wearing suits. By the way, how much of an effect on dress wearing is Melania having? I haven't been watching that, but are women going, ooh, I like what she's wearing, I want to wear that too, like they were doing sometimes with Michelle Obama. Trump smiled, shook hands, and nodded at the 83-year-old emperor before greeting Michiko as well. The four entered the palace, where they chatted through interpreters in footage aired live on television, but without sound, as is customary. After the meeting, Trump shook hands again and tapped the emperor's arm repeatedly with his left hand. "Thank you for the great meeting," he told Akihito. "I am sure we will meet again." This from Reuters. And, oh yeah, so I guess also the Apple phone, when it was released, broke records. People expected that, but you know, this phone is freaking expensive. It's $1,000. Consumers drove out in droves over the weekend to buy the iPhone 10, which some of you will call iPhone X, and I think that's fine. And then Apple's website reported that the new phone was unavailable for pickup in some of the top cities like New York, Boston, Chicago, Denver, Houston, Dallas, Minneapolis, San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, DC, Vegas. Oh, that's good. Delivery times for online orders is 3 to 4 weeks. And A handful of units were available for pickup Sunday morning in Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Scottsdale, Tucson, El Paso, and Santa Monica, as well as Northridge, California. But by the afternoon, they were gone too. So I guess there are still lemmings out there that want that stupid Apple crap, that crapple. In fall of 2010, the Russian billionaire investor Yuri Milner took the stage for a Q&A at a technology conference in San Francisco. Yes, 7 years ago, his holdings have included major stakes in Facebook and Twitter. He's known for expounding on everything from the future of social media to the frontiers of space travel. But when someone asked a question that had swirled around his Silicon Valley ascent, who were his investors, he didn't answer, turning repeatedly to the moderator with a look of incomprehension. Now leaked documents examined by the New York Times offer a partial answer. Behind Mr. Milner's investments in Facebook and Twitter are hundreds of millions of dollars from the Kremlin. Obscured by a maze of offshore shell companies, the Twitter investment was backed by VTB, a Russian state-controlled bank often used for politically strategic deals. And a big investor in Mr. Milner's Facebook received financing from Gazprom Invest Holding, another government-controlled financial institution. They include a cache of records from the Bermuda. These are from documents okay. Well, this is all in the New York Times if you want to check it out. So that guy, Yuri Milner, watch him like a hawk as we go outside a Café Anyway. We're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Because I don't like these Russians having such a big part of our government.
America elected Donald Trump. And yeah, the Russians helped.
Thank you, Elizabeth Warren. She tells it like it is. Next show, it's going to be Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. Enjoy your Monday. I gotta get the car smogged. That's a fun activity we do here in California. Oh, another fun activity is paying increased gas prices because of the stupid gas tax that just went up. Thank you, California. So love living here.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!